Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm an advisor from JP Morgan. I'm going to be recommending today as to what you should be doing with your Flight Centre shares. I'll also be talking about how Flight Centre's DCF and relative valuations have impacted on whether you should sell, hold, or buy your Flight Centre shares. Lastly, I'll discuss the current travel industry and how Flight Centre is performing as a whole company in comparison to it. The company Flight Centre that I'll be discussing with you today is one of the biggest travel groups in the world. It has business operations in 23 countries. Flight Centre has a massive company under its conglomerate called Corporate Traveller that networks throughout 90 countries around the world. It is the objective of Flight Centre to become the largest and most successful corporate traveller company by having business operations in more than 50 countries and 80,000 employees based around the world by the year 2035. As you can see from this table, the market capitalisation for Flight Centre is $3,468 million, and the market cap is $2,270 million. This shows that Flight Centre is very liquid, so if they were to experience a downturn in the market, they would have the liquidity to ride it out. Also, the future forecast of Flight Centre is that revenue has been increasing since 2019, where it was $3,066 million. It is expected to rise to $3,083 million by the end of the financial year of 2020, and further on in 2022 it's meant to hit $3,316 million. As you can see, it is progressively increasing in its revenue. This shows reason as to why Flight Centre shares, as they are forecasted to have incrementally larger revenue growth over the next 4 years. However, the current stock price is $34.40 and the price target is $37. The PBT margin is falling below 1%, which isn't meeting the target of 2% that Flight Centre has set as a goal. This shows targets aren't being met. Revenue margins have been falling due to online booking and more competition within the travel industry, which has eroded the ability for Flight Centre to charge service fees. Regardless that, Flight Centre isn't meeting its growth targets. The stock price is currently lower than what it should be according to JP Morgan report, and therefore it is recommended that the share is bought. Reinforcing a major reason why Flight Centre shares should be bought is the positive earnings Corporate Traveller has shown in the financial year to date. In the new growth areas such as the United States of America, which we can see is a major opportunity for Flight Centre to expand, which will increase revenue and market share as it only has 5% of that market share. Another reason to buy Flight Centre shares is due to the upgrade to the new GDS global distribution system, which has caused a downturn in the Australian leisure business, but due to it now being complete, Flight Centre will now see a rise in productivity, sales staff, which will be at most advantageous to the numbers that Flight Centre produces. Also, the Flight Centre Enterprise Bargaining Agreement has been ratified, which gives direction of the company has been moved back to cost cutting and growth of Flight Centre. Even though targets haven't been met regarding growth, the strong financial data and the economy's leadership position in the market makes investing desirable in Flight Centre, which is why we strongly recommend that you buy. At this current stage, in time, the virus COVID-19 has caused a drop in confidence within the society, which has caused uncertainty for Flight Centre as a whole company. This is due to the fears that the virus may spread around the world and cause massive lockdowns as it has in China. Additionally, the increase in competitors and easing of booking online means decreases in sales, and scandals such as the 2018 underpay can also frighten off investors. A DCF valuation was done in order to fund the value of investing in Flight Centre. To find the DCF, you fund the present value of the expected cash flows, discounted at the WACC, which is 8.5%. Taking into account the terminal growth rate, which is 2%. As you can see from this slide, by finding firm value and value of equity, you can discover that the value per share is $105.19. According to this valuation, Flight Centre is undervalued, as it trades at a share price of $34.40. Based on Flight Centre's FCFF, this information is useful when deciding whether to buy or sell Flight Centre shares, because the stock is undervalued. It means the financial risk is reduced and profit increased. This is a positive result when wanting to invest in a stock. Moving on to relative valuation analysis. By comparing Flight Centre's financial data to that of an industry peers, a conclusion can be made as to whether to buy, hold, or sell Flight Centre shares. As we can see from the high price to earnings ratio and earnings per share, the company is in a strong financial position at the moment. The price of sales, the dividends per share, profit before tax, and enterprise value are all indicating strong profits in the future. And demand and stability. Competitors such as Expedia and Core Travel Management highlight industry average. Flight Centre has the highest price to equity, suggesting a competitive advantage over its peers. Its earnings per share and price sales is at the industry average. Its earnings per share would benefit from bearing slightly higher to remain the strongest competitor. Flight Centre should be bought based on the DCF and relative valuation analysis that I have done. This is because they are undervalued. I believe the additional reasoning that I advise you to buy Flight Centre is due to the impact of the coronavirus fears have had on the share price. The recommendation is also solidified through the potential expansion opportunities Flight Centre has planned as a company. Their leadership position in the industry, through buying this stock, it presents an opportunity to go long and make a less risky profit. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, through conducting valuations and intensive research on the current and future financial position of the company, Flight Centre shares are undervalued and present an opportunity for active and passive investors. This concludes my stock pitch for today. Thank you so much for listening.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I swear to God, it's fucking lagging. I'll cut off. I'm going to cry.